I come in?
Yeah, please do. Miss Patnaik, please be very comfortable here.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, sir. Good
Good
afternoon, sir.
afternoon. Yeah. Good to see you.
Thank you,
Please
sir.
sit down.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Please introduce yourself.
Good afternoon, esteemed panelists. My name is Swarupini Patnaik. I belong to Cuttack district. I have done my schooling from Stuart School, Cuttack. Thereafter, I did my +2 from Revenshire Junior College, Cuttack. After which I joined graduation and then completed my post-graduation in sociology from Revenshire University, Cuttack. And my interests lie in dancing and doing home Pilates.
No. You are interested in classical dancing?
Sir, I'm not a trained dancer. I'm an enthusiastic dancer and I try to see YouTube videos and learn dancing.
What
on
is
my
he?
own. Not classical. I'm
Not
not
classical.
trained in classical dance, but I can do a little bit of semi-classical.
Any idea how many types of classical dances are there in India?
Yes, sir. So there are 8 types of classical dances in India. Odissi, Manipuri, Satriya, Kathakali, Kuchipudi, Mohiniyattam, Kathak. Yes, sir.
Bharatanatyam?
Bharatanatyam, yes.
That's very good. Can you just give me a basic idea on what is the difference between a caste, a tribe, or a band society, and how would you differentiate between endogamy, polygamy? These are the fundamentals of sociology. Yeah.
Yes, sir. So beginning with caste, caste is a form of social stratification which is very exclusive to the Indian society, and it is characterized by segmental division in the society, hierarchy, principles of purity and pollution. It originated basically on occupational basis, but then gradually it got evolved in the Indian society. After which tribe refers to a social group which is characterized by geographic isolation. They have distinct cultural values and principles, and they have a primitive level of working in them. So after that, endogamy refers to having a closed system of marriage. They marry within their group. Then polygamy refers to the practice of having multiple partners, which is characterized into polyandry and polygyny. Polyandry refers to one woman having multiple male partners, and polygyny refers to one male having multiple female partners.
What is anuloma and what is pratiloma?
Yes. So anuloma marriage refers to a marriage in which the boy belongs to a higher caste and the girl belongs to a lower caste. Whereas pratiloma marriage refers to a type of marriage in which the boy belongs to a lower caste and the girl belongs to a higher caste.
Any historical evidences can you give actually? If you've studied Indian history, must have studied Indian history.
Yes, sir. So I'm unable to recall right now.
In your very first paper, general studies paper, you have history, sociology, and geography,
Yes.
right? Yeah. Can you just tell me, give me some idea about if you are asked to periodize the 20th century? Mark my words. If you are asked to periodize the 20th century, how would you periodize it?
So in terms of India,
In terms of the world, I'm speaking.
okay. In terms of the world.
20th century, I'm talking. That's why I'm talking about 20th, not in terms of India, because India, if you say, you'll say ancient India, medieval India, modern India.
Yes.
I'm only asking you in terms of the world. If you asked to periodize the 20th century, how would you periodize it?
So pre-World War and post-World War and the following the period after the World Wars.
I'll make it simple for you. It's like this actually. It's a very common thing, but very many people don't normally understand this. You know, AD 1900 to 1945 era of the world wars, like
Era.
you mentioned.
Yes, sir.
1945 to 1991 era of the Cold War.
Cold War. Yes.
Yes, okay. 1991 dissolution of the Soviet Union. Okay, right? 1991 to the present day, as we are sitting here and talking, is the era of globalization.
Globalization. Yes.
Right? Get it now?
Yes.
This is how you periodize the 20th century. Now, you've talked about some of your hobbies like Bollywood and Hollywood dancing.
Yes.
Like, have you performed somewhere?
Yes, sir. So I've performed in my college
Wonderful.
and school, both.
Revenshire College.
Yes,
Revenshire
sir. Revenshire University,
Yes.
Revenshire College. Yes, sir.
Right. Achha, you were a science student
Yes.
at the physics, chemistry, biology, mathematics you have. Can you just tell me what is osmosis and what is photosynthesis?
Yes, but by the faint remembrance that I have, osmosis refers to the process that involves the movement of water molecules from lower concentration to higher concentration. And photosynthesis refers to the process by which food is prepared in the plants by utilizing carbon dioxide and giving out oxygen.
What is geotropism and phototropism? Any idea?
So phototropism refers to the movement in association with light, and geotropism refers to the movement in association with gravity.
That's good. That's good. Okay. How would you physically divide the Indian subcontinent?
Yes, sir. So physically dividing the Indian subcontinent, first of all, we have the Himalayas, the Great Himalayas. Then we have the Gangetic Plains. Then we have the Peninsular region, and then we have the Eastern and the Western Ghats, and the islands, that is the Andaman, Nicobar, and Lakshadweep.
When was Orissa state created? When was Orissa created?
So 1st April 1936.
On the basis of
On the basis of the language.
language, and the pioneer, the maker.
So we have multiple pioneers like Madhusudan Das.
Utkal Gaurav.
Yes,
Utkal Gaurav.
Gaurav Madhusudan Das. Then we have K.C. Gajapati, the Raja of Palla Khemundi. And then we also have Gopabandhu Das,
Yes.
who gave a great contribution in this. Then we have Hare Krishna Mahatab. Yes, that's all I can remember.
What about the non-cooperation movement in Orissa? Who led the non-cooperation movement in Orissa, and what were its consequences so far as Orissa was concerned?
Sir, non-cooperation movement was led by Gopabandhu Das in Odisha, and even Gandhiji visited Odisha during that time on 23rd March 1921. Following which the Odisha people started representing in the National Congress. Then they gave a strong voice against the Britishers. The national movement slowly got incorporated within the Odia movement. Yes.
Can you please just tell me how many people from Orissa are represented in the Constituent Assembly?
Sorry, sir, I am unable to recall right now.
Go through it and try to find out
Yes,
how many people
I'll
are
read. I'll read.
And
Yes.
any idea about the women leaders from Orissa
Yes, sir.
during the freedom struggle?
So there were many freedom fighters from Odisha in the freedom struggle, namely Rama Devi, Malti Devi, and Salla Devi. Rama Devi was associated with the Bari Ashram or the Seva Ghar, and Malti Devi was represented in the Karachi session of the Indian National Congress. Then Salla Devi also wrote many poems and literary connotations to raise the nationalist consciousness among the Odias. She also joined the non-cooperation movement and the Inchudi Satyagraha.
And Ramadevi was also deeply associated with Alaka Ashram.
Yes, sir, Alaka Ashram.
Alaka Ashram,
Yes.
that is very important.
Yes.
That is very important. And how would you associate Malati Chaudhary with the Odissan politics, Orissa actually? Whom did she marry?
So I am unable to recall right now. I'll read on it, sir.
The second Chief Minister of Orissa, Nabhakrishna Chaudhary.
Nabhakrishna Chaudhary, yes.
Nabhakrishna Chaudhary.
Yes, sir.
Second Chief Minister of Orissa,
Yes.
Nabhakrishna Chaudhary's wife is Malati
Malati
Chaudhary. Okay, right, okay. Yes, okay. Now you can ask.
So, sociology optional and a student of sociology.
Yes, sir.
What are Emile Durkheim's views on suicide?
Yes, sir. So Emile Durkheim gave a very pioneering view in suicide, following his notations of empiricism. He said that suicide was controlled by two social factors, that are integration and regulation. Integration refers to the person's attachment to the society, and regulation refers to the social control and other forces of the society on the individual. Basing on this, he gave 4 types of suicide: egoistic suicide, fatalistic suicide, altruistic suicide, and anomic suicide.
Okay. Could you please differentiate between the Western culture and Indian culture? How they are different?
Yes, sir. So, Western culture is more derived towards individualism and consumerism, whereas Indian culture is more attracted to traditional values, to family, joint family system. Western culture gives more importance to market economy, to market forces basically. But in Indian society, we keep a balance. We also have importance for traditional values in the society.
In 1991, we also adopted the capitalism
Yes.
through LPG model, right?
LPG model.
Now, do you think this adoption of LPG it erodes the socialistic pattern of Indian economy?
Sorry, sir, I am unable to understand this. So can you please repeat?
Okay, 1991 we have adopted LPG model,
Yes, sir.
right? Globalization, privatization, and liberalization,
Yes, sir.
right? Now, this is all about giving importance to capitalism or socialism. Capitalism.
Yes, sir.
Now, Indian mixed economy pattern, Indian planning is based on socialistic pattern.
Yes, sir.
Now, do you think this 1991 adoption of LPG it erodes these socialistic principles?
Sir, I wouldn't say that it erodes the socialistic principles. It gives more importance to capitalism, but India has always been a mixed economy. It gives value to both capitalism as well as.
There is a question of slim state. There is a question of laissez-faire, non-interference of the
Yes, sir.
state. Now, my question is this non-interference of state or slim state, whether it violates the social welfare approach, welfare state, principle of welfare state or not.
Sir, I personally believe that it does not affect the welfare state, because India, it is giving importance to capitalism, but on the other hand, even the constitution has enshrined upon it the DPSPs, which promotes the social welfare of the people. Even though India supports capitalism, it has many social welfare schemes for the citizens. It has a very citizen-centric approach.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
What is the impact of this LPG model on the Indian society?
Yes, sir. So, liberalization, privatization, and globalization has various impacts on the Indian society. Speaking in, I can divide the impact into economic, social, cultural aspects. Speaking of economic aspect, it has given the importance to rise of women labor force participation. Then it has also given rise to many private companies coming up to India and setting up various branches. So that has boosted employment. It has given rise to public and private partnership. Socially speaking, it has led to cultural hybridization in India. It has infused the Western values in India. It is slowly affecting the disintegration of the joint family system in India.
Recently, there is a peace pact between the government of India in one side, government of Manipur, and the Kuki and Jo groups.
Yes, sir.
Now, what are your views on this peace pact? How it is going to stabilize the prolonged Manipur conflict?
So the Manipur conflict has been a very prolonged one. I personally believe that apart from the peace pact, there should be initiatives by the government to go to the field, to the actual grassroots level, and try to understand what are the problems there and whether this peace pact is contributing to the negation of these problems, and whether there has positive effects of this pact or not. Like, the feedback should be taken, and then it should be decided whether it's fruitful or not, and if it's not fruitful, then further actions must be taken.
Okay. Are you aware about AFSPA, Armed Force Special Power Act?
Yes.
Now, where is it being implemented?
So in Manipur, Assam, in the northeast especially.
In Assam?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, what are the loopholes? What are the drawbacks in implements? How the human rights are being violated because of its implementation?
So this act gives excessive control to the armed forces. For example, there was a controversy when the two ladies from the northeast, they paraded without any clothes to show their movement against it. So I feel the excessive control, those points should be taken care of. The government must amend it to derive that extra power from the armed forces and to balance the citizen sentiments in that area, because it is mostly those areas are mostly dominated by tribals, and we must be sensitive towards them because they are culturally different from the mainland.
Violating the human rights.
Yes, sir.
Violating the
Yes, violating the human.
Shall you replace AFSPA with a more human law?
Sir, I don't think we should replace it completely, but we can always modify it to take into account the non-violation of human rights.
Okay, my last question. Can we deploy Indian Army to reduce left-wing extremism in the Naxal-affected areas, especially in the Red Corridor?
Sir, yes, sir, we can deploy the Indian Army when the left-wing extremism is extreme in the sense, because we have other police forces and the security forces, internal security forces for that purpose. But if things go out of hand, then the Indian Army is the
Indian Army is for our enemies or for our own people?
Indian Army is for the external aggression.
For enemies, right?
Yes, sir.
Now, these people who are in LWE, they're our own people. Those
Yes.
who are misguided.
Yes, sir.
So, don't you think it will be controversial if you deploy army against them? Because army against our own citizens. Do you understand the
Yes, sir.
consequence?
Yes, sir.
Right? Army against our own citizen versus army. Now, you deploy army against Pakistan, China. That is fine. Now, army against our own people. How could you justify it?
So the paramilitary forces, they can be.
Yes, it is already there.
Yes, sir.
Paramilitary forces are already there.
Yes, sir.
I agree.
So the Indian armed forces, they can be given a direction that they should not use force, but they can negotiate with them without using force if it is possible.
All right. Thank you. So, yes.
Tell me something which is not in your resume about yourself.
So something which is not there is I'm a very humble person and I'm very homely. I have except for dancing and Pilates, I also like to write in my free time. Then also I'm a content writer. I have not mentioned it, but I write content for various websites. Apart from that, this journey is a shared dream of me and my parents, and that's why I have given this exam, and I hope I crack.
What is your primary motivating factor?
So, in terms of this exam,
What is your, no, it is about you, whether
Right.
exam or something like that. What is your primary motivating factor?
yes, sir. So, my primary motivating factor, I would say, is that I have this internal zeal to do things in life. If some task is assigned to me, I will do it with full dedication. So, I feel that internal dedication which I have, that is my primary motivating
I
factor.
didn't ask dedication, I asked motivation.
Yes, sir. So, but that force of dedication, in a way, applies to my motivation.
First comes motivation or first dedication? If you do not have the motivation,
Yes,
you
sir.
will not be having dedication.
Yes, sir.
So I am asking about that. What is your primary motivation? Because you have a very impressive record, educational record.
Yes, sir.
So what is your primary motivation?
Primary motivation, other than this, I would say, is that my parents, they have always motivated me. So the unfulfilled dream of my father to become a civil servant and to do good in life, that is a primary motivation factor to do this exam or to do well in life. He has always motivated me to do things with full dedication.
What he could not do, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Then what is your dream?
So my dream is to become a civil servant. I have been very particular about it since my graduation days. That is the reason why I shifted from science to humanities.
Don't you think you are contradicting your statement? You said I am going to fulfill the dream of my parents.
Yes, sir.
Then I asked, what is your dream then?
Sir, it's not only the dream of my parents, I would say, it is a shared dream of me and my parents. So that is why I say that it is my dream too.
What is your opinion of students committing suicide, and that is increasing day by day? Different forms of things are coming up. What is your opinion? It's social, cultural, or individual, or what should you say like that?
So suicide is a social phenomenon. If I would quote Emile Durkheim from sociology, he has also said that suicide is a social phenomenon. And the rising suicide among students has both individual factors, social factors, and psychological factors. So the one thing which comes to my mind now is that mental health. Mental health has been neglected since many years. Now it has come up to the society or the common thinking that we should give more importance to mental health. So I feel when the mental health is not addressed properly, the students come up with such a decision because they are not given proper counseling. It's not, I have never witnessed counseling in my school days or college days. I think counseling should be something which should be attached in all educational institutions. So,
Has it not been there?
Sir.
In your college, every college,
Yes.
UGC has provided
yes, sir.
a special counseling section and paying money for that every year. And why that is not happening?
So I think there's a big difference between pen and paper and the practical reality. So there has been provisions, but I don't think it is functioning with that much care.
So do you think you will carry it on when you will be an OS officer? There will be a lot of gap between your pen and paper, and you will be doing something, and the thing is that there. And if someone asks you, you will tell, sir, there is a difference between law and pen and paper.
So whatever would be in my reach, whatever within my limitations of my framework, whatever would be in my power, I would do my best.
As a student, you have not done it. Have you ever raised a question against this?
Yes, sir, I have raised the question.
That's what I wanted to know. Okay, you told about there are two different types of. So, while answering the question, you are asking that. Now, tell me, you have done something in creative writing, right? What do you think creativity is? What is creativity?
So creativity is the functioning of the human subconscious level. The human mind acts in various ways, and creativity emerges out of the human mind. It is the functioning of the human mind to produce something which is unique in nature, which is beyond the normal things or day-to-day things.
Is that creativity?
So according to
Give me an example.
so for example, if a person is doing
No, give me an example. Don't say if.
so example short story writing or writing a poem or
That writing a short story is creativity, or writing a special type of short story is creativity.
sir, writing a special type of short story, I think
Is creativity,
Yes, sir.
not writing a short
Yes,
story. That is a literary activity. Every
Yes.
one of us do. ସମସ୍ତେ ଆମେ ଘରେ କବାଟ ଗଳି କବିତା ଲେଖନ୍ତି,
Yes.
right? So creativity is right that. How do you think, what sort of creativity you will bring in when you will be an OS officer?
sir,
Be specific.
yes sir. So being a sociology student, one creativity that I will bring when I become an OS officer or a civil servant is that I will bring that touch of connecting with the grassroots level, of understanding the various social and cultural backgrounds of the people I am dealing with. So that is one creativity that I'll bring in.
Do you think you can really do it?
So yes, sir, with proper training and guidance, I will be.
Meeting people does not require a training.
Meeting people does not require a training, sir, but meeting people as an OS officer requires certain degree of training.
What sort of training you need? Suppose I will ask you, we are going to provide you training. What you need? आपको क्या चाहिए उसके लिए?
So I think in training we need is proper ethical guidance, the knowledge of various rules and regulations within the framework of which we will act as an officer.
One single thing?
No, sir, there are multiple things.
What do you mean by cultural hybridization? When you answered him, cultural hybridization.
Yes, sir. So cultural hybridization refers to the process wherein two distinct cultures mix and fuse with each other, and the parent culture accepts the various qualities of the.
So is it same as amalgamation?
No, sir, it's not same as amalgamation.
So cultural hybridization and cultural amalgamation are two different concepts.
Yes, sir.
Can you enlighten me, please?
Yes. So, as I said, cultural hybridization refers to the process wherein the parent culture takes in certain attributes of the foreign culture or the Western culture. In the process of cultural amalgamation refers to both the cultures mixing together, and both the cultures have changes in it.
Example.
For example,
Two examples. One for amalgamation and one for.
Cultural hybridization. Yes. So first, cultural hybridization, we can take the example of westernization in Indian society. Second, cultural amalgamation, I would say the foreigners who are coming and living in India, for example, adopting the Krishna culture, living in ISKCON, and they are undergoing a sort of cultural amalgamation.
Where was the first assembly of Odisha took place?
So it took place in the Heritage Hall of Reventure University.
Heritage Hall of?
Reventure University.
Well, that's
College.
your place.
Yes.
You should say that this is in my college, sir. You should say that it is in my college, sir.
Yes.
And why is Cuttack famous?
So Cuttack is famous, it is known as the Silver City. It is famous for many things actually, sir. But it is known as the Silver City because it is famous for the GI tagged silver filigree work. Second that comes to my mind is Dahi Bara Aludam. And
What about the Barabati fort?
yes,
Third is
historically
the third thing.
speaking,
Yeah,
Barabati
yeah. Tell me. Huh?
So Barabati Fort, and then second it has the Swaraj Ashram. Then it has the birthplace of Biju Patnaik. It is Cuttack is also the birthplace of Netaji Subhash
Yeah.
Chandra Bose.
So that came should on your top of the list or at the list of the
Sorry,
list?
sir.
I was waiting for that.
You know, when,
I thought you will miss it.
when you're talking about historical facts, remember one
When
thing.
we are talking about Cuttack, that is the first.
You must always maintain a chronological
that
order.
that should
That
be the
is
first
very,
thing,
very
isn't
important.
it?
Yes, sir.
That is
That-
very, very important. You know, chronology must be your first priority as an officer,
Yes.
right? Okay. Yeah. One more thing I'd like to ask
Yes.
you. You know, very recently the United Nations Population Development Fund gave this statistics. I'm sure you're aware of it. That the Indian population in the age group of 7 to 34 is the largest and the fastest growing population in the world. And the question that is raised by Amartya Sen is that whether this population is growing only, you know, in terms of quantity, or does it have any qualitative change, intrinsic qualitative change in it? Because what we notice today is that for the present generation, you find, you know, there is a huge pursuit for materialistic aspects of life, wherein we are losing the traditional value system that has made the Indian civilization last for continuously 5,000 years, the only civilization after China which has a continuous cultural past for more than 5,000 years. Now, here we find, as you mentioned, actually, the family system, the family fissures are developing to such an extent that the present generation is not able to communicate properly with the older generation. And that is what is leading to these family fissures and friction, actually. Material pursuit has become so artificial intelligence and all you know, actually. Now in that sequence, I would like to say family structure basically depends upon understanding, you know, parent-child relationship, right? Okay. And then husband-wife relationship. And here we find in whatever form of marriage, actually, like whether be it an arranged marriage or is it a love marriage, it's become a norm, like, you know, like they say, ghar ghar ki kahani, divorce at the slightest pretext. What is your opinion about that?
So I think the rates of divorces are evidently growing in India because of the various changes in the family structure. There's a generation gap between the in-laws and the parents and the son and the daughter-in-law. Sir, I feel in the material pursuit of life, the children or the present generation is slowly forgetting the traditional values, which is creating these rifts in the family. So I think the balance must be maintained because getting skills, getting jobs, getting an achieved status is very important in today's world. But at the same time, we must not lose our originality and our traditional values, and we must balance it, sir.
Is that possible?
So,
I'm asking you in person. Do you really think this is possible?
so personally, I think it is possible because
And prospectively, from any historical evidence or from background, people talk about this balance. Is it there? Do we see that around?
no, sir, we do not see. It is slowly
That
disintegrating.
means, as you said, it is good on pen and paper. It is good for a symposium and a seminar. Is it possible? Had it been possible, rate of divorce must not have been increased. It is not between you and me. A lot of people are right about there, right? So I missed just one question. As a sociology student, you told Western culture is influencing our thing. That is, it is a opinion. But what happened when High Court passed the judgment of a gay marriage in India? As a student of sociology, how do you perceive this?
Sir, the rights of the LGBTQIA community is being promoted in our country. It has been a long-standing debate, and now finally people are accepting it. And as a sociologist, I believe that the gender equality must be maintained. And by gender, I do not mean only men and women. There are other genders as well. So the gay marriage is, according to me, is a positive thing because their gender rights are being liberated.
Now you said, sir, we should go forward, but we have to have our roots in our tradition, right?
Yes, sir.
Right? And When this interview started, you were talking about Anulom and Pratilom. So, should this decision is affecting that? Or
Yes, sir.
should you go by that?
Sir,
What do you think?
Yes, sir.
What do you think?
Yes, sir. Sir, modernity and traditional are two dialectical.
No, be specific on this question.
Yes, sir. So I think I did not say that entirely we should be attached to a traditional values or entirely we should become Western. There should be a balance. Certain practices which are discriminatory in nature, that should be avoided. But certain values like respect for elders, which is integral to the Indian society, that can be maintained.
No, my question was not that. My question was specific. On this light of this High Court decision,
Yes, sir.
what is going to happen to this system of marriage? Because the definition of these two system of marriage cannot come right over there,
Yes, sir.
right? So how we are going to see marriage in coming near future?
So marriage in coming day future would not be limited to this construct of Anuloma or Pratiloma. It will move beyond it because it does not apply to
If you will be
homosexuality.
given a preference, which one you will prefer, Anulom or Pratilom?
So I would first see a partner. I would rather see the qualities than the caste, personally speaking.
As a student of sociology,
As a student of sociology, also I would give greater freedom to choice, personal traits than caste.
okay, fine.
Wonderful.
I think
Yes.
Yes.
that's from me.
Nice meeting you. It's been a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you.
And I'm very hopeful that you'll definitely do well in the interview. God bless you.
I also hope that you'll be doing it. The calmness with which you are handling the question is the most important than what you are speaking.
I'm particularly happy because you belong to my school. Stuart School is my school. I passed my senior Cambridge in 1969. So
Yes.
when Mr. Saunders, Mr. Smith, all those people, old people were there. Actually, Mrs. Hart was our principal. So I feel so happy that you are from my, at least someone has come from my school.
And I am a Ravenshavian.
I'm also a Ravenshavian. And I was the head of the Department of History in Ravenshaw College for 22 long years.
Yes.
Okay, good. I wish all the best, and I'm sure you will do it. But you should go beyond this also, right? This should be a station, not should be your destination.
Okay.
Now, your knowledge on sociology, I must admire. बहुत बढ़िया अच्छे आउटस्टैंडिंग नॉलेज सोशियोलॉजी रो आपण किछि भी क्वेश्चन आंसर दोचन तो ता पई किछि वरीड होवार नाही बट जे सिचुएशनल क्वेश्चन जो पचरा हो जेम एप्सपा कथा मु कहली नाउ आर्मी को ना वी कैन नॉट डिप्लॉय अगेंस्ट आवर ओन पीपल
Yes, sir.
ହେଲା କି ତ ସେଟା ଟିକେ ଟାଇମ୍ ନିଅନ୍ତୁ ସିଚୁଏସନାଲ କ୍ୱେଶ୍ଚିନ୍ ଯେତେ ଆପଣ ଟାଇମ୍ ନେଇକି ଆନ୍ସର ଦେବେ ଇଟ୍ ୱିଲ୍ ଲୁକ୍ ନ୍ୟାଚୁରାଲ ସେଟା ନ୍ୟାଚୁରାଲ ଲାଗିବ ଠିକ୍ ଅଛି ଭାବିକି କୁହନ୍ତୁ ଆଉ ସେଇଟା ଆପଣ ଭୁଲ କହିଲେ ଆମେ ଆର୍ମିକୁ ଡିପ୍ଲୟ କରିବାନି ଏଗେନ୍ଷ୍ଟ ଆୱାର ଓନ୍ ପିପଲ୍
Yes.
ବିକଜ ଇଟ୍ ୱିଲ୍ ବି ଏଥିକାଲି ରଙ୍ଗ ଠିକ୍ ଅଛି ଆଉ ରେଷ୍ଟଲା କରେଣ୍ଟ ଆଫେୟାର ଟିକେ ଦେଖିଦେବେ ଆଉ ଡିଷ୍ଟ୍ରିକ୍ଟ ପ୍ରୋଫାଇଲ ଦେଖିଦେବେ ଏଇ ଦିଟା ଛୋଟ ଛୋଟ
Current profile ଟିକେ I think ଦେଖିବା
ଆଜ୍ଞା
ଦରକାର.
କରେଣ୍ଟ ଇସ୍ୟୁଜ ମୁଁ ଲେଖିଛି
Current issues ଟା
କରେଣ୍ଟ ଆଫେୟାର୍ସ
ସେତିକି କମାଣ୍ଡ ତ ଆସୁନି. It's not coming onto that particularly issues. ଯେହେତୁ your topic is sociology, you will be dragged into that. You cannot just segregate it.
ମୁଁ ମାର୍କ କରିଦେବି ଜିଏସଟି ମଣିପୁର ଭାয়োଲେନ୍ସ ଯାହା ଯାହା କମେଣ୍ଟ କରେକ୍ଟଲି ଚାଲିଛି ଆପଣ
Last 10-12 days ର newspaper reports ଯାହା ଯାହା ହେଇଛି and କାଲି ସକାଳେ like he pointed out ଯେ କେବେ ଅଛି ମାନେ vice president's election ହେଇକି କ'ଣ all those things actually
Yes, sir.
both ଓଡ଼ିଶାରେ ଇଣ୍ଡିଆରେ abroad.
Yes.
Like abroad,
Yes.
like they may ask you, say Ukraine,
Right.
what is happening, and then Gaza, what is happening,
Yes, sir.
and maybe hypothetical questions. Trump's presidency, how is it's affecting
Affecting
India
India.
now? But you know all those things.
Yes.
So last 10-12 days, current affairs.
ଠିକ୍ ଅଛି ହେଇଯିବ ଆପଣଙ୍କର ଅଲ୍ ଦ ବେଷ୍ଟ
Thank you, sir. Thank you,
No,
sir.
I really wish. I would like to see you as an OSS.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you, sir. Thank
you
you.
deserve it.
Thank you, sir.